everyone, good morning and welcome back to Lotus Chat episode 95. And today we're going to dive into the power of kindness together with Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi, everyone.
So, welcome back to our episode. And if you like what you've been watching so far, click like and subscribe on our Lotus Chat Worldwide. So, we're going to dive straight into this really interesting topic called the power of kind assumptions. Have you ever been into a situation where, when someone said no or someone rejected you, and then immediately you go into this whole level of assumptions that tends to sound negative more than positive. So I don't know why I do that. I'm not sure if you guys do that, but I don't know why I do that. And I think I always wonder why we kind of, move straight into that negative assumption mode rather than having the kind assumptions. So let me share with you a story. Like, for example, if let's say my colleagues or a customer will actually say no to something that I propose. And then immediately my mind goes into like, oh, was it the content that's not good? Or they don't like it? Or why did they say it? It goes into a negative assumption. And I think that's not very helpful, at least for me. And I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And what do you think about that, Jen? Have you ever been in that situation before?
I think we can all safely say we've all been in a similar situation. So definitely can understand where the mind can go when we are faced with a sort of a no or what we consider a rejection of sorts.
Yes.
Um, I actually have, in my mind, been going through quite a few things that I would say recently that I thought, it was not good that that somebody answered that way.
Mm,
Or my mind definitely went into a mode of where I was thinking, like, why would a person say something like that in the first place? Like, was it
mm,
something that I said, or was it the way that I was coming across? In what way, shape, or form did I, bring on
mm.
the quote unquote rejection?
Yes.
So you start thinking why, and you start thinking about
Correct.
yourself a lot, right? But at the same time, I will say this. I've started to learn about coming to an assumption too prematurely. And I'll give you a
Mm.
really good example about that. Sometimes I think we can definitely get into premature assumptive mode where we think the worst of something.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to get on the other side of that is if you have the opportunity to find clarity with that person and say, oh, okay, thank you for being so honest and direct about your come from or about your response. I'd like to kind of know why you may have said no. And if there's a well, it's a straight no, like a no is a no. Some people will say a no is a no, take it
Mm,
as it is.
mm.
But for some people are open to getting clarity as to what was behind the no in the first place. And you'll
Mm.
come to find that it really can be one of two things. One, the person just really is, telling you that not at this time, or I think that there could be a little bit more there that can be done before
Mm.
I can accept that offer. And then on the other end of the spectrum would be somebody's just like, well, this is how I feel in the moment. I can't really say it's a definitive yes yet. So it is a
Mm.
no. Until it is a definitive yes, it'll be a no. That
Yeah.
type of situation.
Yeah, I
Um,
love that when you shared that because I think also the mind sometimes tend to want a conclusion out of the conversation. The mind doesn't like vague answers, doesn't like is she saying
right.
yes, is she saying no? Why is she saying that? Like the mind
Yeah.
doesn't like that. So the mind wants to conclude. So the mind goes like, all right, so she's giving me a rejection. And I wonder why. And then
Yeah,
you go into an action mode.
exactly.
So I think
Exactly.
yeah, so I think what will really help is to be able to sit with that discomfort or sit with that, vague answer, which is not a definitive yes or no, it's just maybe. Right? Yeah.
I think sometimes it is good for us to just kind of sit in the mode of just taking in what was said and
Yeah.
then seeing if there's an opportunity for like a dialogue, an open conversation with somebody. to clarify things for you and
Mm,
thus hopefully for them too. But
I love
again,
that.
Zian, if there is a situation for you where you felt kind of like, I don't know like what it is, what is it like feeling that needing to be in the discomfort for a little bit when you hear that rejection, and how do you get yourself to reframe that into a
Mm.
different way?
I love that question. And I think when it comes to, talking about this topic, the power of kind assumptions, I think it's important that we be kind to ourselves. So I always go into the mode of whatever it is, I always believe the universe has the best answer for me. It's not the answer that I like right now, but it is the answer that is best for me in the long run. So when I go into that mode, whether it's yes, it's no, it's maybe, it doesn't matter because I truly believe that whatever it is that's presented right now, it is the best for me. And I think also on the second dimension is that it's important that we be kind to the people that is in front of us. So be kind to ourselves and be kind to the people in front of us. Because when we are being kind to them, sometimes when people say no, it's because they really just do not have the capacity. They're really going through something personal. They are really having a horrible day, and then this whole thing came out, or, they just had a fight with their husband or their family or whatever, right? So be kind to the circumstance they're in right now.
I love that you said that. And I love that you also made us remember that sometimes it's not always us when a response comes back and it's not necessarily ideal to how we would like somebody to have responded.
Mm,
Keep in mind other people's emotions and feelings in that moment or at that time in their life, and
mm.
know that sometimes those, as you know, with our topic, with the whole kind assumptions, you I love how you worded that because I think sometimes we just have to really think about being kind to ourselves and being kind to others in the moment before we go into negative mindset mode. But then what if, I'm just saying for all of you out there who've gone down the negative mindset trail, what if you have an assumption that then leads you down this trail of thinking that that person may not care about you, or that person doesn't respect you, or that person may never feel
Mm.
like you are ready for something. So I think we just need to just really think about that a little bit more. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's good. And I think it's important also to reflect what assumptions have we been wrong? Because, the mind likes to be right. I like to be right. So the mind likes to be right. So who doesn't, right? So I guess it's important to also consider that other perspective that I could be wrong. So what assumptions that I'm making right now that I could be wrong? Yeah. So, in closing, if you like what you're hearing right now, I really want to encourage you to subscribe our YouTube channels, and email us on interesting topics at LotusChatWorldwide@gmail.com. Do you have anything you'd like to say, Jen?
No, thank you so much, Zian, for such a great topic. And as Zian mentioned, you can find us all on our YouTube and Spotify channels. We have so many videos. Look, we're at night, like almost mid 90s now with regards to our videos, and we're so excited we can continue to do this all with you guys. And I know we've had a little bit of like a little bit of a lull, but we definitely will try to come back with some more episodes for you in the near future. And if you have any ideas that you'd like us to go back and forth on, we are here. So thank you
Yes.
all again for being a part of our Lotus Chat community, and we will see you next time. Take
See
care, everyone.
you.